Hey, Shalom Markham. This is Rakamach Pasham, GMS London, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bashem Chakodash. Want to give double honors unto the elders, the apostles of GMS, and Shalom out there to the hopeful one that pushing his truth in all sincerity. Back in another video, and this is kind of laying back in off one of the Apostle Tah's recent videos called "But Yahweh have chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise." All right. And because we've all received the calling, as Israelites, we've heard the call, right? Another brother, or Paya Allah, did a short recently about the calling, right? GMS quickening, I believe, right? We all hear that calling, man, and you got these people out there that mock us, because we come across a certain way and we don't fit the narratives, we don't fit the box of Christianity, tick the boxes that they like to see, right? And so they call us fools and idiots and all that kind of stuff. And then when the Apostle would just say, "Look, man, hey, that's cool, man. Call us fools, man, because that's exactly what we're supposed to be to this world, fools, right?" And so really, we're being called, those that answer and pick up, right? We're being called to be fools for Yahawashi's sake, right? Doing this ministry is going to make us look like fools in this world, right? But it's we're only going to look like fools for so long. Okay, it's when all these prophecies are fulfilled, man. We're gonna be looking like the smart ones. Okay, it's everybody else is going to look like fools in the end. But while this kingdom is going on, we're gonna look like with the idiots. We've got low numbers compared to everybody else, and no one's following us, no one wants to listen to us, because we're shouting and screaming, and you man don't understand the Bible. They think it's black, they think the Lord's black, and it's because everybody else is ignorant, and that's the whole point. The whole world is meant to be in darkness, right? So you're meant to be ignorant. The truth is meant to be really a small thing, right? With a small group of men, okay, which are the Lord's elect, right? So of course they're gonna look crazy and strange in a world where the majority, they think they're right. Of course it's meant to look like that. Of course it's gonna look like that. But this is what we're ultimately called to do. So that when all these things come to pass, you're gonna be like you're gonna be in stupor. You're gonna be like, damn, that was real. They were right. The Most High is gonna exceed your expectation, man. Right? You people need to be humbled, man. You people out here need to be humbled. Right, and that is how the Most High is going to do it, by using the weak things to confound the strong, and the foolish things to confound the wise. Right, so you don't give us no respect right now, and that's fine. That's how things are supposed to be. But the fact of the matter is, we've got the truth, and you guys ain't. It don't care. We don't care about the majority of what you people think out here. Right, we're here. Lord willing, being a part of the elect, we're here to serve Yahweh and Yahweh. And if you're gonna do that, you're gonna look like an idiot out here. You're gonna have the world against you, telling you that you're wrong. That's fine. That's cool. But let me open up with this. This is from 1 Peter chapter 2, and it's from verse 9, right? It says, "But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and holy nation, a peculiar people." Right? Strange. I said we don't fit the narrative. We don't fit what you think a man is supposed to be, right? Because you're judging it based upon yourself, or you're basing it upon people that you grew up, looking up to, But like I said, you got a whole bunch of priests, in these churches fitting with boys and shit. Like, so what's all of this? Who are you learning from, really? Right? But yeah, we're a peculiar people, right? That ye should show forth the praise of him that have called you out of darkness. The darkness is the lack of the truth, right? In this world, there's lack of truth. So you're coming out of this world. Okay, this world is darkness. All the knowledge of the world, right? That's darkness, right? Even this typical mainstream Christianity. That's darkness, man. Right? Because they're tools of Satan. That part of his deception that he's using on the planet. Right? So that's all darkness, and the Lord is calling us out of these places. That His elect, right? Which are only a few men. right? It's only a few mans really in the grand scheme of things, really ultimately, right? He said of him who called you out of darkness into this marvelous light, right? So there's only a few people on the planet that stand in the light. Everybody else is in darkness, and everyone's got that's full of darkness. Got a lot, got shit to say against us, right? Because you're ignorant, because you're in darkness. All right. This is John chapter 15. I'm starting from 18 here, right? So if the world hate you, you know that it hated me before it hated you, right? And so just like when Yahawashi was walking upon the earth, right? There's only him and a few men that were in the light. The rest of his people were in darkness. The rest of the world was in darkness. Right? And so when they were teaching these things, guess what? They seemed strange to them. Right? They didn't believe them. They didn't want to believe. They didn't want to hear what they had to say. They thought they were wrong. The scribes and the Pharisees, or the wicked scribes and Pharisees, right? They were trying to, debunk the law, just like you fucking wacky tacky Christians trying to debunk us and all this kind of business. Trying to teach us or tell us that we're wrong. Yahawashi had to deal with the same shit. Being told that he was wrong. That this is not the way things are supposed to be. Right? Because the doctrine that he came with was one of perfect understanding, which they didn't have perfect understanding. They were in darkness. Right? But they were determined to stick to their ways. And again, it's the same with the rest of these, these Christians and these Jake that are into Christianity and stuff. They're just stuck in their ways and they don't want to change because they believe what they got is right. Fine. Just keep on believing that, because the Lord ain't looking for you, obviously. So you're meant to believe it. You're meant to stay in darkness. All right? So if you're of the world will love his own. But because you're not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world. Okay, we're out of this world, man. Okay, we're not here with the mainstream. We're not here with the majority of you Christians. Yeah, we read the same book, but obviously you have no understanding. Right? Because the Lord has given us the light, given us the ability to see and understand, right, these scriptures. Right? But you want to reject it. Right? That's because we're not of the world, man. Or you're not part of this one. The Lord has rejected them. Right? But woken us up. So we don't stand with the majority of people on the planet. Right? So remember the word that I said unto you. The servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. And I'm gonna probably close out with this one as well. But like, the Lord's elect are already certain mans, right? And so when we go out there and teaching, or they might turn around and say to you, yeah, no one's listening to you. You might have a few men with you, kind of thing. But like, obviously, in comparison to like Christianity as it stands, right? You Christians have got like 1 billion whatever followers, right? Compared to this Israelite movement, which might be in the thousands. I don't know. I don't know if it's even hundreds of thousands. I have no idea, but it's probably in the thousands. At least. So, that's small. That's like these men aren't really nobodies. Really, ultimately, we're like nobodies, really. But we got the truth, right? Against you, billions of Christians and all your other religions out there. You Muslims got 1 billion mans or whatever, right? All you men are wrong. The Hindus, the Buddhists, you all men are wrong. Right? So out of the billions that are here upon the earth, man, only the elect are going to receive this. Right? And if you're of the elect, the Lord is dealing with you, man. When we're out there on the highways and byways teaching this truth, man, and you hear this word, right? And you're compelled to believe in it and to follow it and to do it, right? It's a good shout that you're a part of the elect. You're answering that call to serve Yahawashi and Yahawashi. Now, whether you endure into the end, that's a whole different matter, right? Because the Lord's got to be with you ultimately to the end for you to be delivered. All right? But like I said, that's where it starts. That starts with the calling. Like I said, you can either accept it or reject it, right? And the Lord is ultimately the one that's going to decide whether or not, whether you're going to accept it or not, right? But it is only a few people that are going to accept it, right? So you can look at us saying, "Oh, you're just a small contingency of so-called black people, you angry black people, right, with chips on their shoulders, just barbaric. You man just shouting in the streets. Or you can look at us like that if you want to, right? But at the end of the day, it's the Lord that's going to justify. The Lord's the one that's going to justify us, right? So anyway, so remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they kept my saying, right, because the sheep hear the Lord's voice, right? So that's who we're looking for. This is only about the elect. So if they have kept my saying, they will also keep yours. All right. So let me go to Romans 11, verse 7 here. It says, what then? Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election have obtained. The elect can obtain, are the only ones that can obtain the truth. Right? And the rest were blinded. Right? The rest, okay, which is the majorities, right, are meant to be blinded. They're meant to be left in darkness. Right? So we're meant to be small in number. Talking about the believers, the elect. All right? So we're meant to feel like the whole world is against us. That's exactly where we're supposed to be. We don't have a billion people behind us. Trump's declaring he's going to go to war for you, mans. you Christians, you're going to go to war. We ain't got no backing, no earthly backing like that. We got a man and a whole fucking military that's going to fight on our behalf. No, we've got Yahawashi. That's who we're relying upon, right? And that's why we diligently and patiently wait for the return of our Lord Yahawashi, right? To prove us and justify us and to protect us. We're not looking for the world to protect us. The world can't protect us. The world isn't going to protect us because the world is not with us. So yeah, the election have obtained it and the rest were blinded. According as it is written, God have given them the spirit of slumber eyes that they should not see and ears that they should not hear unto this day, right? So you're going to be hard-headed against the truth. You're made to be like that. So you got all these scoffers and scorners. You were made to be a scoffer and scorner. That is your lot in this world. That is your lot in this world, right? And you man are come up with the most dumbest shit, man. You man are full of pride. You got guys talking about how with bombs and you got to get your money up and you need to, what is it that name? Something Daniels, was it? I don't fucking remember these niggas, man. But they man are talking about because they got money coming in, they got this and that, and bro, like, do you know, right? To be a man of the Lord, right? You're not gonna be a man of the world, right? You're not gonna be measured by things in the world, But obviously in this world, people look up to certain things of this world, right? And that's why no one gives us the respect because we're not living that life, right? We're not living that here, flossing and shit and making fucking rap music and shit, right? And dunking balls in basketball nets and shit. Like, them men get respected in this world, right? But that's their calling. It's a ridiculous calling. It's a foolish calling at the end of the day because it's not nothing to do with the Lord. It ain't serving the Lord. It's a self-serving lot, right? Which ultimately they're going to lose all of that. They're not men of the Lord, right? That's a weak calling at the end of the day. And you people idolize that shit like it's something great, but really that's a sad calling. It's a sad ass calling. Now you might look at us, bums, and we got you make fun of us or whatever, and you might see that the calling that we have is sad. Yeah, but in this world it is sad because we don't gain nothing from doing it in this world. Everything that we do, we look for that to receive in the kingdom. That's the difference. Right, you men are too focused on worldly things, carnal things, and so you respect the guy that's got carnal materialistic shit, right? And then look at us and like, well, these men, these can't be men of the Lord. They ain't got shit. That's not how things work, though, because you're blind. Like I said, we've got the calling to come, to serve the Lord, right? Them men have got callings to go play sports and be entertainers. Shit, man. For the so-called white man to be entertainers, man. It's like, come on, man. Oh yeah, but they're owning millions and all this shit. Fuck them millions, man. Hey, I'll tell you what, soon come, these men ain't gonna have a dime in their bank accounts. How about that? Not a single dime. And you might say, but you ain't gonna earn the money either. Maybe so, but at least we're gonna be able to eat. The Lord gonna provide for us, man. Okay, these men ain't servants of the Lord, so how are they gonna eat? So again, according as it is written, God have given them the spirit of slumber eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear unto this day. And David saith, let the table be made a snare, and a trap, and a stumbling block, and a recompense unto them. Right? So you got a whole bunch of Jake with Bibles in their house, Bibles in their hands, talking about they know the scriptures. And when they talk, evidently they don't know the scriptures. Right? They have these understandings that just is not scriptural, but they've been taught it, right? They've been taught it, and so they're running with it. All right? But it's been given to them to be a stumbling block unto them. And that's why the masses of people that hold these scriptures don't know what the fuck they're talking about. It's just the truth. Because the Lord isn't looking for the majority of these people. The Lord is looking for his elect, which again are a small group of people. So it's going to be like the lesser known, lesser recognized groups, so to speak, right? But specifically us, beginning with GMS, beginning with our elders and apostles, with Apostle Tahar on down, like we're not gonna be looked at like we got the truth, because the most people don't want to believe what we got to say. But again, that's exactly how it's supposed to be, right? Because we've been called out of the world, right? And the world hateth us, so they're gonna be against us. They ain't gonna agree with what we got to say. All right. Verse 10, let their eyes be darkened that they may not see, and bow down their back always, right? So the Most High is the one making sure that those that are not meant to receive it, ain't going to receive it. No matter how hard you try, no matter how many times you read the Bible over and over. You ain't going to get it. You're going to come to the wrong conclusions. And that's how the Lord's going to leave you. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 1. Let me start from 21. It says, for after that, in the wisdom of God, the world by wisdom knew not God. Right? And in this place, acting like it's all wise, talking about, what I mean, Esau and the world, like, they're moving further and further away from believing in the Most High, believing in a God, right? Esau's trying to take everything over with his science. So people are becoming less spiritual, man. Right? So the wisdom of this world is not even really to accept God. But it says, for after that, in the wisdom of God, the world by wisdom knew not God. It pleased God by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe, right? So what we do looks foolish. And there's nobody out here really like backing us. Oh yeah, but you Christians get support. There's this whole organizations and all kinds of things that back you guys, right? Because you got a whole fucking, because like I said, it's an operation of the devil at the end of the day. So that Esau got back into all kinds of shit, right? You got 1 billion people and all these different fucking charities and churches and all kinds of shit going on. Right? You got mega wealth, as a religion, right? that you jump on the back of. But the Israelites now, no, we're just small groups, man. Some of us, well, we got 100% truth, but some of these guys, they got mostly, most of the truth and not all of it, right? They're a lot closer to the truth than any of these Christian, these Christian churches, But yeah, so what we do seems foolishness because it even goes against the grain of like, guess what they call traditional Christianity or whatever, plantation Christianity, right? So again, it pleased God by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe, right? So yeah, of course we're going to look like fools, right? For the Jews require a sign and the Greeks seek after wisdom, but we preach Yahawashi crucified, unto the Jews a stumbling block, and unto the Greeks foolishness. But unto them which are called both Jews and Greek, Yahawashi the power of God and the wisdom of God, because the foolishness of God is wiser than men, and the weakness of God is stronger than men. For ye see your calling, brethren, that not many wise after the flesh, right? So the intellects of the world, right? The guys with the high IQs, the scholars, right? Because they're supposed to know so much. They've done diligent research. Well, guess what? If the Lord is not dealing with them, guess what? All that don't mean shit. Again, they're not going to draw the right conclusions. Yeah, they can find this out and write this in a book. They can, they can do all these different types of things, but they're lacking the spirit, so they can't connect certain dots together. Or the Lord has led them astray, leaving the scriptures as a stumbling block to them. Again, not coming to the correct conclusions, right? Because the Lord is not looking for these special dude with the high intellects and all this kind of bullshit, right? Because these men are only proud, So for you see your calling, brethren, that not many wise men after the flesh, and not many mighty, not many noble are called, right? So again, it's Lord is trying to prove a point or make a statement by using things that are not considered of great importance or great reputation, right? Because you people boast in all these different types of things, but all we can boast in is knowing the truth, that we know Yahawashi and Yahawashi, and that's what the scripture tells you to do, right? To boast, or roughly paraphrasing, to boast that you know me, you know the Most High. We don't boast in that our wisdom or our strength and all these different types of things. We boast that we know the Heavenly Father, you know, and that's all we can be accredited to, because there's nothing else that we've got to give you. But like a lot of people are enamored by a man's wealth. There's so many pastors out there that got the slickest suits on, bro. Them suits cost money, watches, cars, everything, right? Them men have got money, but a lot of people attribute that to righteousness. But these men are wicked, right? These men are wicked, and it's the same in all these churches, really, in their different forms. It's just wickedness that they're doing. But you like to put them on a pedestal, especially like the Roman Catholic Church. You know, the head of the Christian Church, the Christian faith, so called. Is verse 27. But God hath chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, and God hath chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. Right. So yeah, we look foolish and irrelevant. We're not bold. We're not balling. We ain't got all the P's, you know what I mean? We ain't got women around us, and we ain't got, driving sports cars and shit, right? Because you'd rather listen to a nigga with all that shit. It's just true. You rather would. He's all lined up and shit. He's looking, he's looking sharp. You know what I mean? You'd rather listen to a dude like that, because that meets your expectation or of the world, in that dude, even though he ain't got the truth. He speaks a few nice words that you like to hear, and you just think, oh, yeah, that man's got the truth. Man, he's an actual fool. He don't look like a fool, but he's an actual fool. Because all that stuff that he knows or don't know ain't gonna serve him, at the end of the day. Right? So it's verse 28, and base things of the world and things which are despised, okay, i.e. us, we're despised among all these different groups. Even among the Israelites, we're despised. So all base things of the world and things which are despised have God chosen, yea, and things which are not, to bring to naught things that are, that no flesh should glory in his presence, right? Because it's not going to be about us. This is going to be the power of Yahawashi and Yahawashi. This is what it's going to be about. It isn't going to be because we were so intelligent that we could break down all the scriptures. No, we were a bunch of dumb fucks. Not all of us, of course, but we wasn't reputable people. Like, some man went to college and university and all that kind of stuff. So we have a certain level of intellect, but it was never really about all of that. None of us knew the scriptures prior. You know what I mean? We had to learn all of that stuff. And it had to be the Lord, that enabled us to receive the understanding. So none of us can glory in anything to do with ourselves. Some man glorify the fact that he got PhDs and masters and doctorates in divinity or whatever, vocab and these guys. I went to ceremonies. What do they call them? I keep calling them cemeteries. What the fuck's it called? Yeah, you went to these fucking colleges or whatever to learn the scriptures, but evidently you don't know shit about them. You've learned more from us than you ever did to go into any college or whatever. So you might think you got the better understanding, but you're just missing the spirit, bro. You just can't. You can't get the understanding. No matter how much you try, you can't get the understanding. What's that scripture, man? Man, what's that scripture, man? Ever learning, but never coming to the truth, man. You always trying to find something out, but you will never receive the truth, because the Lord is just simply ain't dealing with you. Verse 30 says, but of him are ye in Yahawashi Mashiach, who of God is made unto us wisdom and righteousness and sanctification and redemption, that according as it is written, he that glorieth, let him glory in the Lord, right? And that's all we can do. But like a lot of people, they get gassed up in the street, man, because they start to think they're important, and they start believing that they're great, and it's never been about us. The Lord is great, right, and His mercy is great, so we have to remain humble. Let's see, it's 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 10. So we are fools for Yahawashi's sake, but we are wise in Yahawashi. Right? So yeah, in this world we're fools, but really we know what's up. So we are weak, but ye are strong. We ain't got time to dedicate our life in the fucking gym or some shit. It's like we'll go get my muscles and biceps. I'm not gonna get shredded. You're in the gym 5 days a fucking week. Like, I'm not saying you can't go gym. Ain't nothing wrong with being shredded either. But my point is, like, you man, that's what your lives are about. You dedicate your lives to that. Health is important, but like, you'd rather put your physicality before the Lord. You think that's what life's about? I'm just gonna be shredded and ripped. I'm gonna get all the girls. I'm gonna do a fucking podcast. I'll do YouTube, whatever it is. You man, just taken in by the things of the world, right? Well, we have to kind of like forsake that for the large part. Yeah, we can we go gym, might work out and whatever, but like you want to get to that level, you got to put a lot of time and effort into that, dedicated to that, right? All these fucking influencers on the YouTube, man, they live that, man. Well, unless you're a liver king, you're probably just juicing up, innit? But like, a lot of these guys are just juicing up anyway. But like your nutrition, that is just all geared to just go into the gym and building your body, because that's your thing. That's the vanity that consumes you. Just building your body. You want to look the best. You want to look great. But as our thing is the Lord. Our thing is the scriptures. We dedicate most of our time towards that. And so, yeah, we don't achieve much else outside of that in terms of the world, because we're passengers, man. We're looking to jump off. We're looking to jump off the train, bro, of this world. Okay, we're waiting for the last stop. Right? We're going to jump off the last stop before the fucking train goes off the rails. We're just passengers right now. We're not even looking to stay on the train. Right? We got other motives, man. So again, we are fools for Yahawashi's sake, but ye are wise in Yahawashi. We are weak, but ye are strong. Ye are honorable, but we are despised. Right? In this world, we're despised, but in the Lord's eyes, we're honorable. And those things are only manifest once all this is over. When the Lord flips the switch and His kingdom is destroyed, people are gonna look at us differently, because we're gonna be we're gonna be in the it's gonna be obvious that we was in the right. Right, so we're going to be looked at whole, completely differently when His kingdom is destroyed and the kingdom of heaven is established. But for now, we have to just deal with the scoffers and the scorners. I read that earlier. This is Luke chapter 10, verse 24. For I tell you that many prophets and kings have desired to see those things which ye see. Everybody wants to understand the scriptures. Everyone acts like they understand and knows the scriptures. But the truth is, the majority of these people ain't got a fucking clue. Not even a little bit. They're so way off course, it's not funny. And that's why we just can't bother with a lot of you guys, man, because you man are so stubborn and ignorant, right? And you're defending the whole pile of dog shit. It's not even worth entertaining you. If you genuinely want to learn and listen, right, then learn and listen. Okay, but listen is emphasize the listen part, because you people do whole lot of fucking talking. You talk about we should be talking with you, but you don't want to listen. We're here to teach you, right? So if you're not here to learn, i.e., be quiet and listen, don't waste our time, because we're not going to waste our time on you. Oh, debate this. No, we're not going to debate you. We've told you, you know what it is, right? If you don't want to accept it, jog on, mate. Right? Because we ain't going to go back and forth with you for weeks after week after week, so that you may get it. Bro, obviously, you don't want it. You don't even want it. So why am I trying to give it to you? Obviously, the Lord don't want you to get it. So don't waste our time. We're not going to waste our time. You know? But you can keep believing that you got the truth. You can carry on doing that. You know? But I said the majority of these people are wrong. Completely wrong. All right? So again, for I tell you that many prophets and kings have desired to see those things which ye see, okay, which has been freely given, by the way. Like I said, none of us, well, maybe not, you know, a lot of us are not like astute, we're just bare studious, and that's why we know. It has nothing really to do with that. Right? The Lord gave us the understanding, allowed us to understand. You know? So many prophets and kings have desired to see those things which ye see and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear and have not heard them. Right? And they ain't gonna hear them either. They ain't gonna see them. Because no matter how many times you break it down, they ain't gonna see it. They ain't gonna hear it. Right? And it's all down to this. John chapter 10, verse 27. Let me read up a little bit. Verse 26, right? But ye believe not, right? Because ye are not of my sheep. That is it. That's the sum of the matter, really. You don't believe because you're not of the sheep. Can you believe in whatever bullshit you want to believe in, but it ain't the truth. You don't believe because you ain't in the truth. The Lord isn't you're not part of the Lord's sheep. Right? So, but you believe not because you're not of my sheep, as I said unto you. My sheep hear my voice. And what did I read earlier? Right? If they've kept the Lord's sayings, they'll keep ours also. Because we're here with the Lord's truth. Right? So if they hear us, guess what? They're of the Lord's sheep. If they don't hear us, man, they're part of the world. And I said the world is the majority of people on the planet. That's a whole lot of people. It's not even like a small majority kind of thing. No, it's a huge majority of people. 99% almost type sort of thing. We're like the 1% of people. It's probably even smaller. I think about it, right? Has the truth. The rest of these people are in complete darkness. That's a whole lot of people to deal with, man. You know, the scoffers and scorners. That's a whole lot of people to deal with, telling you that you're wrong, that all these men are right, or whatever. That's a whole lot of people, man. So you can feel comfortable in thinking that, because you got a whole other bag of man that believes the same thing as you. But us over here, you know, we're a small portion of men the Lord has given this truth to, that we have to stand firm on what we believe. You know? But we're not going to be deterred by you fucking idiots. Because we know you idiots. We know what we got. We know what you come with don't make no damn sense. And so you're not going to you're not going to convince any of us that you men are right. How can the majority be right? Someone sounds contradictory, right? But how can the majority be right? The Lord doesn't deal with majorities, man. When it comes to things like this, He doesn't deal with the majority. That's why I read about it earlier. He speaks the weak things to confound the things that are mighty. We're just we're small and insignificant in the planet, ultimately, in this earth, in this world. But these are the things that are going to confound you, man. These nobodies that claim they got the truth. You feel comfortable and you feel safe because you got you're a whole group of people that believe in Jesus Christ, a so-called right man, come to save everybody, blah, 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 blah. I can do what I want. I can eat pork and do this and do that. You know, you feel comfortable because you're a whole bag of guys doing it with you. You know? But, again, more saying to deal with these guys, man. Right? So my sheep hear my voice and I know them and they follow me. The sheep will follow us, right? And I give unto them eternal life, and they shall never perish, neither shall any man pluck them out of my hands. Right? So you're not gonna, like I said, deter us from our mission, man. It's really, if you ain't believing what we're saying, it's pointless talking to us. We ain't hearing what you got to say. We don't give a fuck about what you're saying. As far as we're concerned, you man are all in darkness. I ain't got nothing to learn from you, man. You know, if you ain't speaking these same words, I got no business with you. Right? Verse 29, my Father which gave them me is greater than all, and no man is able to pluck them out of my Father's hand. Right? The elect are sealed. Right? Nothing can happen to them. Okay, they are destined to succeed. Okay? As it's been set since the foundation. Okay? So the 2 Timothy chapter 10. sorry, 2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 10, right? So therefore I endure all things for the elect's sake. Yeah, so we'll be fools, we'll be whatever, right? Whatever you want us to be. We'll be the wicked in your eyes, we'll be the evil, we'll be the grapists, and we'll be the pedos in your eyes, whatever. All the evil that you want, you guys want to throw upon us, we'll be all of that. Right? Because at the end of the day, it's all what do they call that, man? Slander. It's all slander, man. The same thing they did with the Lord and the disciples, the apostles. Brought lies and accusations against them when they had done no evil, right? Because this is how it's supposed to be. Let me grab that. And they should speak evil of you. Let's see. It's not the one I want. Oh, maybe it's revile I want. Yeah, Matthew 5 and 11. So from verse 10, blessed are they which are persecuted for the righteousness sake of theirs, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Right, so like I said, we'll be all these evil and wicked things to you in this world, man, because that's how things are supposed to be. Right, you man look at us as the opposite of righteousness, but the truth is, it's you guys that are walking in like I said, in darkness and in ignorance, and are fulfilling the role of the wicked, right? In this time, right? Whereas you're looking upon us like we're the guys, this small group of people, we're the all the the rot in the earth, all the scum in the earth, causing, we're the root of all bad things in this world. Is the way some of you go on, right? But it's the majority of you man in the world that is doing all of this and being all of that. Okay, the Lord is going to come and judge, right? And the Lord's elects are going to be justified. Okay, that's how it's going to be. Just like in the past. Verse 12: Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. So if we're sitting in that boat, so to speak, right, we're fulfilling that role. We're happy to. We're happy to fulfill that role. Right? That's why he said, blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake. Right? It shows that we are in the lots of the prophets and the men of the Lord. All right, so we'll build with that here. But like I said, I wanted to close out with this. John chapter 15, verse 10. All right. So remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also, right? So like I say, if you hear the words that we're teaching, right, and like I say, it resonates with you, man, and you believe and you want to, contribute, you want to play your role, you want to, do the work. Like I said, there's a good chance you're of the Lord's elect. But if you don't hear it, then, I guess you ain't a part of this, isn't it? As simple as that. So all the scoffers and scorners that are just adamant that we're in the wrong, guess what? You're just not a part of this, man. Okay, it doesn't upset us. It doesn't upset us. You don't believe us, man. That you think we're liars, we're frauds, or whatever you think about us. We don't, you don't care. But just know what you're saying is wrong, right? You ain't got the truth. Okay, and all that is gonna come to light eventually. So like I said, we're set out to be the fools in this world, the scum of the earth, and all that kind of business. That's what we're set up to be, or to to look like in this world. But in reality, we were the righteous. We were the men with the truth. And you come down talking all your shit and persecuting us. But such as it needs to be. But I'm gonna end it there. Lord willing, this has been edifying. And I'll catch you brothers and sisters on the next video. Until next time, I say shalom.